Caught in the Act. Canada's finest names in music are here on the West Coast. Tonight, Debbie Kaye. A performer who has literally grown up in the music business, Debbie Kaye has been singing professionally since the age of 10. A diverse and popular television and nightclub entertainer today, Deborah's years in the music industry have seen her go through many changes.
When I started out, I used to work with my father in radio and television in Bermuda at ZBM. In those days, my father was a radio and television personality, and he called himself Dave Carter. Now, our original name was Cartner, so for a long time I was known as Daughter Debbie, and my father Dave Carter. Then I was in school, and I was back to Debbie Cartner. And then Columbia Records got hold of me and decided that they didn't like any one of those names, so they changed my name to Lori Kaye out of the blue. And then they found out that there was somebody else, I guess, with that name down in the Nashville area, so they changed it back to Debbie, but they kept the K, so then it became Debbie Kaye. But they found an actress in L.A. whose name was Debbie Kaye, so they decided to go back to Lori Kaye. However, they'd already released a record with the Debbie Kaye, so they put the two names together, and it became Debbie Lori Kaye. Then I got married, and half of my ID became McEwen. So once I was divorced, I took all those names and I threw them in a garbage can. I called up the government and said, tell you what, and I went back to my original name, which was Deborah, which was I was christened. I took the L because I liked the initials DLK. I don't have a middle name legally, so it's now Deborah L. Kaye. Ta-da!
The buildings reach up to the sky, and the traffic thunders on the busy street, and the pavement slips beneath my feet, and I walk along and I wonder, who am I? I close my eyes and I can fly, and I escape from all the worldly strife, restricted by routine of life. Still I can discover, who am I? I long to wake up in the morning and find everything has changed, and all of the people that I meet don't wear a frown. See, every day it's just the same. I'm chasing rainbows in the rain, and the dreams that I believe in, they let me down. Maybe I'm reaching far too high. Oh, I got something else entirely free, the love of someone close to me, unfettered by this world that hurries by. So to question such good fortune, where am I? This is my life. Today, tomorrow, love might come and find me. I was just put on earth to be, and this is me. This is me. This is my life. I don't care about all that lost emotion. There is so much inside I've got to give. Just let me live. Let me live.
The Debbie Kaye story, as such, I guess begins in terms of music in Bermuda, singing in church with my Uncle Eddie, who taught me to play ukulele and guitar. I was fascinated by his talent, and I was also fascinated by my father's energies and the fun he used to have with the kind of work that he did. And I wanted to be whatever it was he was. I walked like him, I talked like him, and therefore I wanted to be like him in the music industry. So I began to sing with him and do commercials and go to the radio station and hang out and talk on the air. When we came to Canada in '62, I continued doing that at a number of the radio stations that he worked at, and I got a lot of experience in radio doing as such. Also, we used to work every weekend in some community hall. As I became a teenager, I formed my own band because I was developing my own independence, and so I had my first rock and roll band was called the Rogues, and of course we were slightly Beatle-oriented. My boys wore their Beatle caps and vests and leather Beatle boots, and I had my brocade, very ugly outfit with the inlay satin bell-bottoms and go-go boots, of course. And around when I was 14, we got a call that a tape of mine had been sent down in Nashville, Tennessee, and a man by the name of Frank Jones, who was the head of Columbia Records, the country music division, had decided that he wanted to talk very seriously about recording me. And I flew down there, and at 14, I suddenly had a recording contract for 7 years with Columbia Records. Through that, I did a number of television shows, usually as a guest. And at the same time, at one point when I came back to Canada, we found that Pat Hervey was pregnant with her second child, and they needed a replacement for her on the Tommy Hunter show. So I went down and auditioned for that, and I got the job and managed to keep it for quite a number of years. I stayed with Tom. Probably some of the best days of my life growing up in the business.
And I think you're going to enjoy the song. Debbie?
He's a 1432 Frank-A-Pack Circle hero. And you can see him every weekend with a car full of kids and snow cones. Well, now the people across town, they don't know his name, but on Frank-A-Pack Circle, he's king. He's the 1432 Frank-A-Pack Circle hero. Well,
the people that watched the Tommy Hunter show in those days were interested in something that had a great deal of variety, because in those days Tommy's show was a variety show, not strictly country. These days, however, I find when I'm out on the road, fans will come up to me and say, "You're not singing what you used to sing on the Tommy Hunter show," because in their mind they have the idea that Tommy's show was strictly country, because I suspect that that's what they remember most, as that's his image. And because that's his image, therefore it became ours. And yet they're wrong, because I pay tribute to those days constantly, with the Pet Clark medley, with the 60s medley, with music from the 40s. So I think I'm staying fairly true, actually, to those days. There has been a growth for me because I have wanted to try new things. I want to see what I can't do. Why not? Music to me is music, as long as the lyric content has some kind of message that I can relate to. If it's funkified, or if it's blues, or if it's jazz, or if it's hard down country, I think I still come at it with a Debbie Lori Kaye edge.
good morning, honey. Here we go again. Good morning, honey. You are the one that knew me well, and I guess I might as well get used to you hanging around. Good morning, honey. Sit down.
In 1968, I did a television special called Hey Little One. And on that television special, I met my ex-husband, and we developed a relationship over the next couple of years, and we were married, and my son was born in 1970. And I found that although music was such a big part of my life and made me happy in so many ways, it was also stealing from me just a bit, and I found it very hard to keep my relationship with my husband in good health. And perhaps, too, because we were young and were growing in different directions, we came apart at the seams. In an effort to keep that marriage together, I left the Tommy Hunter show, and my husband and I went on the road together as a nightclub act. I don't think anything would have saved that marriage, but it was the beginning of my whole nightclub experience. And I stayed on the road for many years after that, sometimes as much as 2 or 3 years at a time, with everything in storage. And you can do that for so long when you're young, living out of a suitcase, and then the novelty wears off, and the things that count to you, like stability and security and some kind of normalcy to your life, begin to take hold of your spirit, and you begin to wonder what the blazes you're doing.
Fire,
Nightclubs are my bread and butter. Those are the people that you meet on a one-to-one basis, and that really counts. But you must give yourself a break, or you go stir-crazy. Nobody can do that kind of thing, night after night in a smoky bar with liquor being there all the time, the same element, 4 or 5 shows a night. The human voice isn't even meant to do that, never mind the mental elements. So when I came out to Vancouver, I decided that it would be real important to me spiritually to split things, to pursue some of the creative areas that I've always dabbled in, the writing of songs, the writing of screenplays, the writing of stories, short stories, especially kids' stories, and see if I couldn't get my creative juices going that way. And I found something real magical. Each time I would come back to the stage, I came back rejuvenated, happy to be there, having fun singing.
Dropping, there ain't no stopping. Tell me how long will this rain last? Jiggle, jiggle, slop, slop. Just gotta see my sweet come drop. She's there waiting and I'm at the table. Tell me how long will this rain last? You better tell me how long will it last? Other for a ride. Love was good, we didn't hide it. Passion flowed like honey sweet, burning fire and lightning heat. Lovers who have gone before catch their fingers in the door, try to make it all work out, knowing what it's all about. It's hopeless, huh? Hopeless. This love is hopeless. Oh, it's hopeless. Yeah. Before there's temptation at my door, what to do, which way to turn. Now this love no longer burns. Love is like a game of chance. You roll the dice and then you dance. You never get what you intend, and every game comes to an end. So take your time when you go down. Listen for that warning sound. Love can make you want to stay. It isn't worth the price you pay. It's hopeless.
The songwriting I do today is more influenced by artists like Stevie Wonder, like Michael Jackson, one of my favorite artists, Gladys Knight. A little more R&B, funkifized. I just, for some reason or other, relate to that. I think some of it has to do with my upbringing in calypso and the island music from my early days. But I write now with my piano player, Mark Anderson, who has a wonderful mind, in that I can sit there with him and say, well, I think it should go like this. And I mean, anybody else would look at me and say, you've got to be clearer. But he just seems to tune right in. We've been friends a long time, and he knows how I think and what I'm thinking about. And if I explain it just the right way, he'll find the notes and the chords for me. And we work very well that way. That will work fine in the studio when we've got strings and French horns and all that stuff. So what do we do with it on stage?
Heart feels, pain speaks, tears are black tides going round for the ride. Those yellow blazes give way to hazes. Your mind gets lazy. You're going crazy, amber-colored now, making shadows fall. Night's about to fall, and then you can see it all.
I think I've often been accused of being intense and too serious about life and perhaps a little philosophical about everything. But having raised myself essentially through my teenage life, I've had to find ways to give myself strength for survival. For instance, for some women who have been physically attacked, like our friend Sherry Elrick, and like myself, you begin to feel very vulnerable about being alive, and you begin to question whether or not you have a chance in this life at all. In other words, you can go on thinking you're terrific, you can go on thinking nothing's impossible, you can go on with a positive thought, and then suddenly one night out of the dark somebody jumps on you and tries to take your life. And you begin to really regroup as a spirit and as a human being.
Fighting, fighting, fighting for my life. Fighting, fighting, fighting for survival.
What I chose to do, I didn't choose to take a martial art that would make me even more angry, make me, I'm going to go out and take on the world and beat people up, and don't mess with me, buddy. So what I wanted to do was take something that would give me flexibility, physical confidence, that would also be sport-like. And Taekwondo is very sport-like. It's an art, and the people who are in it are almost ballet-like. They, you know, there's many high kicks, and they're not so much into how do I destroy this person. It's how do I take care of myself, and what's the best way to get away. And that's more what I want to know.
At every turn you see the headlines, no one seems to care. We're so close to revelation, and we will lose it if we dare. To we are fighting, fighting, fighting for my life. Fighting, fighting, fighting for my life. Fighting, fighting, fighting for my life. Fighting, fighting, fighting for survival.
Deborah Kaye.
For the past 3 years, Deborah has divided her time between performing and working behind the scenes in television. Of personal importance to her is her work as a field producer of the annual Variety Club Telethon.
Variety Club is a cause. It's an organization that tries to make life better for a lot of kids out there who really need it. And not until you get out there and you meet some little kid who was born with legs that don't work, who doesn't know that he's not supposed to walk, who doesn't care whether he's not supposed to walk, and plays hard and is climbing all over this, that, and the other. And you see Variety Club providing this for him to learn and that for him to learn, and a facility for him to grow, and encouragement, and therapists who are fierce in their protection of these kids. Why are you here, and what are you going to shoot, and don't show them pity, we don't want you to do this, and because they don't want you to feel sorry for these kids. They want you to show that these are kids first, who have every right to grow up just like you and I did, and like your kids and my kids. And boy, I tell you, it's changed me a lot. My whole outlook on when things go bad, or the things that I complain about, changed a great deal. I've met people like Colleen Wood who taught me the meaning of courage, and the meaning of humility, and the meaning of the idea that nothing is impossible. It really isn't.
One more mountain to climb, one more river to cross. I've come such a long, long way, but still I've got a long way to go. Oh, weary all of the time. one more river to cross.
God finds a way in your life to, when he takes the winds out of your sails, he's perhaps trying to teach you how to learn to use the paddles again. And if you don't get that right, he kicks you out of the boat and makes you swim. And a couple of years ago, I learned how to swim. And I figure now I'm ready for the paddles. And somewhere along the line, I got some real good sailing ahead.
Sometimes when I feel afraid, I think what a mess I've made. My life. I'm always crying over my mistakes, forgetting all the breaks I've had in my life. I was just put on earth to be, and a part of this great world is me and my life. So I guess I will just add up the score, and I'll count the things I should be grateful for in my life. This is my life. Today, tomorrow, love might come and find me. I was just put on earth to be. This is me. This is me. This is my life. And I don't care about all those lost emotions. There is so much inside I want to give. Let me live. Just let
Next week, caught in the act, Paul Horn.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good.
Thanks very much. As you know, we're here to do a television show, and we've been setting up all day, and we got a whole BCTV crew set up as well. So we got a few bugs that we're going to try to figure out. Are you going to have some power in that microphone, all right, for this, or what? What is it, a short, or I'll be the only short here.
No.
You all right? Okay, we'll give it our best shot. Here we go. Okay. Those of you who have seen us before know that we often pay tribute to different eras of music. These are not highlights in my hair. I grew up in the 60s, and the music of that period of time is very important to me, and was obviously very influential, and we'd like to pay tribute to a bit of that kind of music, starting out with a medley of songs recorded by one of the cutest little ladies that had a terrific accent and a slew of hits, who came to us from Britain, and her name was Petula Clark. The buildings reach up to the sky, and the traffic thunders on the busy street, and the pavement slips beneath my feet, and I walk along and I wonder, who am I? close my eyes and I can fly, and I escape from all the worldly strife, restricted by routine of life. Still I can discover who am I. I long to wake up in the morning and find everything has changed, and all of the people that I meet don't wear a frown. See, every day it's just the same. I'm chasing rainbows in the rain, and the dreams that I believe in, they let me down. Maybe I'm reaching far too high. Oh, I got something else entirely free, the love of someone close to me, unfettered by this world that hurries by. So to question such good fortune, where am I? You'll never see a dark cloud hanging around me. Now there is only blue sky to surround me, and there has never been a gray day since you found me. 'Cause everything I touch is turning to gold, and you can color my world with sunshine yellow each day. Yes, you can color my world with happiness all the way. You just take the green from the grass and the blue from the sky up above. See, if you color my world, just paint it with your love. My love is warmer than the warmest sunshine, softer than the sky. My love is deeper than the deepest ocean, wider than the sky. My love is brighter than the brightest star that shines every night above. And there is nothing in this world that would ever change my love. I didn't like you much when I first met you, then somehow I couldn't quite forget you. You said you didn't want a friend or a lover, that your life was happy with another. Then as time grew by, my love grew stronger, and I found I couldn't wait any longer, and I couldn't let you go, and I had to tell you so that I love you. Then you know I couldn't live without your love. So now I know you're really mine. I gotta have you all the time. You wander around in your own little cloud, and you don't see the why or the wherefore. You walk out on me when we both disagree as to reason. It's just not what you care for. I've heard it all a million times before. Take off your clothes, my love, and close that door. Don't sleep in the subway, darling. Don't stand in the pouring rain. Don't sleep in the subway, darling. The night is long. Forget your foolish pride, 'cause nothing is wrong. You're beside me again. When you're alone and life is making you lonely, you can always go downtown. When you got worries and the noise and the hurry seem to help, I know. Downtown, listen to the rhythm of the traffic in the city. Linger on the sidewalks when the on sounds are pretty. How could you lose? The lights are much brighter there. You can forget all your troubles, forget all your cares, and go downtown. Things will be great when you go downtown. There's no better place for sure. Downtown, everything's waiting for you. Every day when the work is behind you and the shop and the store put the lock on the door, you just get away where your worries won't find you. If you like, I can tell you some more. a man who will greet you. You'll go downstairs to some tables and chairs. As soon as sure you'll be tapping your feet, because the beat is the greatest there. Oh, and all around there are girls and boys. It's a swinging place, a celebrating noise. It's got an atmosphere of its own somehow. You gotta come along right now. I tell you, I know a place, so when the music is fine and the lights are always low, I know a place where we can go. Oh, I know a place where we can go. I know a place where the lights are low. We'll go downtown, 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 downtown. Thank you. Thank you very much. We have in our audience a number of folks that have followed myself and City Rhythm Orchestra for quite a number of years on this West Coast, and we're very pleased and proud that they would take the time out to share this important night with us. What I'd like to do for you is a song that has been around a long time, and I'd like to dedicate it especially to them. I first heard it by Shirley Bassey. I believe it's been around longer than that. It's a song about survival and kind of a attitude, and I hope you enjoy it. It's funny how a rainy day can make a person stop to say, what good is my life? It's funny how a breaking heart will make a person start to say, what good is my life? It's funny how I often seem to think I'll find another dream in my life. And then I look around and I see the world is a great big part of me. And my life, this is my life. Today, tomorrow, love might come and find me. I was just put on earth to be, and this is me. This is me. This is my life. I don't care about all that lost emotion. There is so much inside I've got to give. Just let me live. Let me live. Sometimes when I feel afraid, I think, oh, what a mess I made of my life. I'm always crying over my mistakes and forgetting all the breaks I've had in my life. I was just put on earth to be, and a part of this great world is me and my life. So I guess I'll add up the score, and I will count the things I should be grateful for in my life. This is my life. Today, tomorrow, love might come and find me. I was just put on earth to be, and this is me. This is me. This is my life. I don't care about all that lost emotion. just that I gotta give. Let me live. Let me live. This is my love. It's my life. This is
Thank you. Uh-oh. We about to get some feedback here? Maybe not. We, most of us in our band are real fans of the 30s and 40s, and those of us in the band who aren't, we just, yeah. Don't get paid as much as the rest of us, that's all. This is a tribute to Billie Holiday and those wonderful ladies back when. This is especially dedicated to a lady who we were privileged to have open our Variety Club telethon this year. She comes to us originally from Montreal, Quebec, and we've been pleased that she spent some time out here on our West Coast. Miss Cecile Frenette is one of the finest singers in our country. The best. I'm your biggest fan. Okay, ready, set? If I should take a notion to jump into the ocean, you know my business if I do. If I go to church on Sunday and I cabaret all day Monday, ain't nobody's business if I do. I swear I won't call no couple if I'm beat up by my papa. Ain't nobody's business if I do. Because I'd rather my man would hit me than for him to jump up and quit me. It just ain't nobody's business if I do. And if my man ain't got no money, and I say take all my honey, nobody's business if I do. Turn around, nobody's business. It just ain't nobody's business. Ain't nobody's business if I do. I cried for you. What a fool I used to be. Well, in every road has its turning. That's one thing I'm in learning. I cried for you. And what a fool I used to be. I found two eyes just a little bit bluer, and I found two lips a
was top man at his craft. But then his number came up and he was out of the draft. He's in the army now, he's blowing reveille. Well, she's a boogie woogie bugle boy, company B. Made a blow duke and out for Uncle Sam. Read it on down because a good night jam. They never seem to understand. Because the next to the captain went out and tapped the band. Now the drum jumps when he was reveille. He's a boogie woogie bugle boy, company B. Doodly goes into the bar. And boogie rhythm again, blow no, without the basic guitar playing with it. And now the company jumps when he was reveille. He's a boogie woogie bugle boy, company B. He was some boogie woogie bugle boy, company B. Every day he's a boogie woogie bugle, he was busy out of busy beat. And now the company jumps when he was reveille. He's a boogie woogie bugle boy, company B. And doodly-ah, doodly goes into the bar. And boogie rhythm again, blow no, without the basic guitar playing with him. And now the company jumps when he was reveille. He's a boogie woogie bugle boy, company B. Yeah, yeah. Fall asleep a boogie every night. He wakes him in the same way in the early light. They glad the hands stand their feet. Cause they know how he goes when someone gives him the beat. And now the company jumps when he was reveille. He's a boogie woogie bugle boy, company B. Doodly-ah, he goes into the bar. And boogie rhythm, I can't blow no, without the basic guitar playing with him. And now the company jumps when he was reveille. He's a boogie woogie bugle boy, company B. Doodly-ah, doodly-ah, doodly-ah.
Thank you. We're going to do one more from that era. This is going to confuse the truck just a little bit. I'm just adding a song here, and then everything else will be in order. I'm a girl. I can change my mind. It says so. This is about a feeling. Have you ever really been in love with someone, and that relationship comes to an end? You find I hear you. Alimony. Well, then you have certainly been here. This, you go through stages when you break up. You get real, angry and bitter and lonesome. And then you get kind of numb. And it's usually then when you decide to go out and, visit with your friends and maybe flirt a little. But if you're like me, you're usually out of practice at being single, you know what I'm saying? So you end up possibly going home Saturday night alone. And you wake up on Sunday morning, take your first 2 Tylenol, extra strength. You feel dead anyway, you might as well. Was that nasty? And you have your first cup of hot, black coffee. And you sit down at the kitchen table, and sitting right across from you is an old familiar friend. Good morning, honey, you old gloomy side. Good morning, honey, I thought we said goodbye last night. I tossed and I turned until I thought you were gone. But here you are with that dawn. I wish I'd forget you, but you are here to stay. It seems that I met you when my love went away. Now
what's new. Stop haunting me now. I can't shake it. No, no. Why don't you just leave me? Just leave me alone. I've got those Sunday blues, and they go right through Monday blues. Good morning, honey. Here we go again. Good morning, honey. You are the one who knew me well, and I guess I might as well get used to you hanging around. Good morning, honey. Sit down. Stop haunting me now. Honey, I can't shake it. No, why don't you just leave me? Can't you leave me alone? I got those Sunday blues, and they'll go right straight through Monday blues. Good morning, honey. Here we go again. Good morning, honey. And you, the one who knew me well. I might as well get used to you hanging around. Good morning, honey. Sit down. Yeah, yeah. Thank you. Do some of you in our audience remember a group called Dr. Music out of Toronto? Yeah, they were my favorite. Is anybody that? Oh, Schmokeronis. Yes, I am. They were made up of some of the best singers in this country back then, and I enjoyed most of their music that they recorded back. This is a gospel song of sorts, I guess, and I hope that you'll enjoy. Hey, Lord, will troubles never end? I try to do the very best I can. Sometimes when the road gets hard to see, please, Lord, you just walk along with me. One more mountain to climb, one more river to cross. I've come such a long, long way, but still I've got a long way to go. Weary all of the time, 'cause I've been tumbled and tossed. There's always one more mountain to climb, one more river to cross. Lord, I'm only try to do the very best that I can. Sometimes that road gets hard to see. Please, Lord, would you just walk along with me? And one more mountain to climb, one more river to cross. I come such a long, long way to still, a long way to go. Weary all the time, I've been tumbled and tossed. There's always one more mountain to climb, one more river to cross. One more mountain to climb, one more river to cross. I've come such a long, long way to still, I've got a long way to go. Oh, weary all of the time, I've been tumbled and tossed. There's always one more mountain to climb, and one more river to cross. It's a great song. I like that a lot. It's a song that I'm taking my time between these numbers because they threaten me in the booth. This is an original. It's a song about survival too. I seem to be hung up on that, don't I? It seems to fit the times. I want some of that what they're drinking up there. That's a great laugh, don't you think, sir? K-rations. What is it, 99 bucks a drink tonight? I hear ya. We hope that you enjoy this. In the wisdom propagated, all the freedom in your mind. At every turn you see the headlines, no one seems to care. We're so close to revelation, and we will lose it if we dare. So we are fighting, fighting, fighting for my life. Fighting, fighting, fighting for survival. You know I'm standing in the middle. I got both feet on the line. They got one hand in my pocket. They got one hand in my mind. At every turn you see me smiling, 'cause you're the ante in the game. And they will play you to the limit. If you lose, well, you're to blame. So we are fighting, fighting, fighting for my life. Fighting, fighting, fighting for survival. At every turn you see the headlines, no one seems to care. We're so close to revelation, and we will lose it if we dare. To we are fighting, fighting, fighting for my life. Fighting, fighting,
illusions take place, and sometimes reality is kind of a haze. And that's what this song is about. It was written originally by Mark and I about a screenplay dealing with that kind of subject matter. We hope that you like it. Lost now, reach out. No one to, someone to show me the answers to this amber feeling. My head is reeling, needs some revealing, some kind of healing. Amber colored now, making shadows fall. Night's about to call, then you can see it all. Life surprises wear many guises now. You're just one of a kind. Midnight lovers reach for their covers. They never know what they'll find. Heart feels, pain spills, tears are black tides going round for the ride. Those yellow blazes give way to hazes. Your mind gets lazy, you're going crazy. Amber colored now, making shadows fall. Night's about to call, then you can see it all. Life is easier, light and breezier when the adding makes two. If you blow apart, it will turn your heart colored amber to blue. Standing all alone over your mother's home, needs some place you can hide. On the telephone, no, she's not at home. Wish the hell you could cry. Thank you. Odd, huh? This is another original tune. It seems to me that I write such depressing things. And this next song is definitely depressing. It's when you've been falling in and out of love most of your life, or you think that you've been hard done by, you might write a song like this. Each other for a ride. Love was good, we didn't hide it. Passion flowed like honey sweet, burning fire and lightning heat. Lovers who have fought before catch their fingers in the door, try to make it all work out, knowing what it's all about. It's hopeless, huh? Hopeless. This love is hopeless. Oh, hopeless. But like all the times
beating at my door. What to do, which way to turn. Now this love no longer burns. Love is like a game of chance. You roll the dice and then you dance. You never get what you intend, and every game comes to an end. So take your time when you go down. Listen for that warning sound. Love can make you want to stay. It isn't worth the price you pay. It's hopeless, not lost. Hopeless, this love is love. Hopeless, no more say. Hopeless, do down. Well, I have loved like this before. You give until there is nothing more. One of us walks out that door. God knows what we do this for. But like all the times before, there's temptation at my door. What to do, which way to turn. Now this love no longer burns. Hopeless, this love. Hopeless, it's just hopeless. My love is hopeless. It's just hopeless. My, hopeless to say. Though it's hopeless, I'm always hopeless. This little song by Manhattan Transfer. Splish splash, tell me how long will this rain last? The rain keeps dropping, there ain't no stopping. Tell me how long will this rain last? Jiggle, jiggle, stop, stop, just gotta see my sweet come drop. She's there waiting and I'm entertained. Tell me how long will this rain last? Ronnie, come take my clothes here, boy. It's a one-button room. Who you know that I'm sharp as a tack. Oh, tell me you Cadillac. Gotta go to the party, you know. Please won't you let me use shorts? If I can't take it, you know, won't make it. I won't see my baby no more. Jiggle, jiggle, splish, splash. Tell me how long will this rain last? The rain keeps dropping, there ain't no stopping. Tell me how long will this rain last? Jiggle, jiggle, stop, stop. Just gotta see my sweet gum drop. She's there waiting and I'm in the bed. Tell me how long will this rain last? Get up. Because if I can't take it, you know, won't make it. Won't see my baby no more. Jiggle, jiggle, splish, splash. Tell me how long will this rain last? The rain keeps dropping, there ain't no stopping. Tell me how long will this rain last? Jiggle, jiggle, slop, slop. Just gotta see my sweet come drop. She's there waiting and I'm entertained. Tell me how long will this rain last? You better tell me how long will it last? We're coming to the end of our evening here. I just want to thank you. Oh, you're ready to go home, aren't you? Good God. All right. Well, see that red? That was rude, wasn't it? I just want to thank you on behalf of City Rhythm Orchestra, myself, and BCTV. The television show is called CaughtAct, and I'm not exactly sure when it'll be aired,
But it was nice that special friends came down and folks that we've never seen before came down and joined with us. The money, as you know, there's $9 a drink. Things are going to that's gold in them glasses, honey. Ray, I need you back on stage again. This is Ray Armour, our good friend from Edmonton, Alberta. I'm riding in your car. Turn down the radio. You pull me close. I just said no, no. I say I don't like it, but you know I'm a liar. 'Cause when we kiss, oh, fire, fire. Late at night, you're taking me home. You say you wanna stay, I say I wanna be alone. I say I don't love you, but you know I'm a liar. 'Cause when we kiss, oh, fire, ooh, like what you do to me, fire. You had a hold on me right from the start. Grip so tight I couldn't tear it apart. My nerves are jumping acting like a fool. Your kisses they burn me, but my heart stays cool. Happiness, you're full of sweet surprises. Happiness, you fill my heart's desire more, and more, more, and more, and over, and over again. I just keep that goodness coming. I just keep it coming. I like the way you like to live. You love life. You are a sweet inspiration. And I like the way you like to give me heart so freely. You are a sweet inspiration. My invitation to happiness. I want your love forever. Happiness. Give me your love forevermore. And more, more, and more, and over, and over again. I just keep that goodness coming. I just keep it coming. I hear your voice everywhere. Echoes of love. You gotta be looking back over my shoulder. The echoes of love starting all over. The echoes of love keep on hurting, out of control. Keep on burning. Echoes of love out of control. Bringing back love I used to hold. Darling, since you went away, yeah, I think about you every day, yeah. So many memories trying to get the best of me. Well, I was recalling the time
I used to hold
I wouldn't do.
what I was supposed to.
I got some things, yeah,
I like to undo.
but you, I just got to want to. Echoes of love keep on hurting, out of control. Keep on burning. Echoes of love out of control. And bringing back love I used to hold.
Darling, since you went away, yeah, I think about you every day, yeah.
So many memories trying to get the best of me. Out of control, keep on burning. Echoes of love, out of control, bringing back love I used to hold. I'm begging
blues and dance all night. They want
American music.
drive with the radio.
Driving with the radio.
Be what you like, do what you feel. The music is right when it almost is real American. You know the rock still rolls and the beat goes on after all this time. Faces change, but the song is the same, and it feels so fine. So play it one more time. They want American music. Oh, grooving with the stereo.
Grooving with the stereo.
It makes you feel alright. They can lose your blues and dance all night. They want American music. Drive with the radio.
Driving with the radio.
Be what you like, do what you feel. The music is right, almost as real American. The purple peaks to the city street. They believe it's a wonderful thing. Power of the pounding beat and the magic in a dream. Just when you think that they've heard enough, somebody says turn it up, turn it up, turn it up.
American music.
American music.
Baby, baby, won't you come out tonight? Taking a chance and dancing in the moonlight. American music.
All night long they want
American music.
give me some of that
American music.
Whoa, talk some American music. Get that song.
It's American music.
Long, long song. She wants
American music. American music.
that weekend.
American music.
Thank you. Thank you. We're going to make one little announcement here, and I want you to pay close attention to this. This room is about to start a whole new life of its own, and we want you to tell your friends about it. Tomorrow, the Century Plaza opens its new show here, and it's called Step Out. It's got some Cole Porter music in it.